Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to my teeny tiny little automotive channel, where today I'm going to be dry ice blasting my Ferrari 308 engine bay and rear suspension area and sides of the engine. I'm also going to attempt to do the engine bay in my truck and the engine bay of my wife's car. And I'm also going to basically just kind of give you a rundown of my setup. So if you've seen my other video where I put this whole rig together, I explained a little bit about what I was using, the different components and stuff. I'll give you a run through of exactly how I set everything up when I'm getting ready to actually blast something. I've got 500 pounds of rice. That's what they call those tiny little pellets of dry ice. It literally looks like little 3mm pieces of rice. I did my little pre-check on my compressor. You check the oil, check the coolant, all that good stuff, and then you're ready to fire it up. So here we are. I'll be flipping that on in a minute. Then I've got my air cooler and my dryer system comes out. My other hose will come off of here and run over to my machine. I'm actually going to be using a new hose. This is a little bit smaller, about half the size of the hose I was using before, because I don't need such a long hose, especially in an area like this. Got my safety stuff. Here's my giant bin of dry ice. This is what your ice will basically look like, these little pellets. And then when you put them in your machine, if you have the machine that I have, it actually kind of oscillates at the bottom and it can chop this up even finer. So what I have to do now is start the compressor, let that do its thing for a couple minutes. Then I can plug in my hose over here and get that set up, run to the machine, and pick out which nozzle. I have 3 different nozzles that I can play with and see which one's going to do the best job, and then just get to blasting. So this is dry ice blasting 101, I guess. Here is the driver's side. So much better. But the big difference that you'll see is right over here on the passenger side, because I did that before. And here we are. Something you got to understand about dry ice. You see these videos where people will dry ice something and then it ends up looking brand new. Well, it's only going to remove the grime and the gunk and all that stuff. It's it's not going to give you a paint job. So whatever that surface is underneath, all of that gunk, that's what you're going to get. So if it's a really nice surface under there that's just gummed up and all that, once you use the dry ice to remove that, yes, it's going to look beautiful and brand new. But if it's a rusty surface and you're removing dirt off that rusty surface, guess what you're going to end up with? I'm pretty happy with the way that it came out. You know, all that grime and junk. I don't expect this to look like it came off the showroom floor, but it does look a whole lot nicer than what I started with. Here is the top part. Came out pretty well. You can see on the top intake part, the black, that paint was flaking anyway, so when you hit it with the dry ice, it's going to blow that off. But everything else came out really, really clean, so I'm very happy with that. My wife's car, her engine bay came out fantastic. Much, much nicer. And also on my truck, did a really nice job of cleaning that up. Got up around the hood area, but there it is. Did a really nice job. The best part about this dry ice stuff is I have not found a surface that I could not use this on. So the possibilities of work are kind of endless, and being that it's kind of in its infant stage as far as, you know, getting out to the general public and people kind of understanding what it is and what it does, I don't know if there'll ever be a ton of competition because there's so much work that can be done with dry ice. So many different industries that you could go after, not just automotive. You've got marine, you've got power sports, you've got restaurants, industrial, cleaning, big machinery, stuff like that. I mean, think of anything and everything that needs to be cleaned, and you can clean it with dry ice. So the dirt bikes are kind of dirty. Let's see how these turn out. That, boys and girls, is dry ice blasting. And it's, if you are kind of OCD like I am, it's actually a lot of fun to watch this stuff just get, all this dirt and muck just get blasted off the surfaces. It's kind of soothing, I guess. It's weird to say that, I know. If you're ever looking to do something for yourself, to work for yourself, to start your own business, this is the type of business that is low overhead. You know, if you're starting a business these days under 50 grand, it's kind of unheard of, right? I mean, everything is so expensive. So some of you have seen this for sale on Facebook Marketplace and in some of the groups. I do have it listed for sale or trade. I'll trade for a cool old car or hot rod or something of equal value. But the reason I'm getting rid of this or have it for sale, I say getting rid of, I'm not trying to get it gone by any means. But the reason I have it listed is because I actually ended up taking a job not long ago that was it was an opportunity I knew that I could not pass up. It's one of those opportunities that does not come around, and I had to run with it, and I'm very happy that I did. I'm very happy where I am. I thought I would do this on the weekend, but man, working, you know, full time every day, your weekend time is kind of precious. You play catch up for all the stuff you missed during the week. I don't see myself really trying to actively, you know, market this to do on the weekends while I'm working full time. If somebody wants to get in cheap, I mean, inexpensive, I guess is a better way. If I had to build this rig again, it would probably cost me an extra 10 grand to build the exact same thing now because of all the taxes and price hikes and tariffs and all that stuff. So this one's available. Reach out to me. Send me an email with your info, mrnobodiesgarage@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer any questions and, you know, assist you if, you know, you're looking to get into this. It's such a cool industry, and this is kind of the ground floor, really. It's starting to just now kind of take off. Until, you know, someone decides that they want this, I will keep it and I'll continue to use it on all my stuff, just like I did today, because it does come in handy, that's for sure. So you see how well it did on brick, concrete, my wooden fence. I mean, it made that piece look brand new, like it had just been installed. Then you can go back and restain it if you want. The dirt bikes, I mean, motorcycles could be huge, especially dirt bikes. If you've ever ridden dirt bikes and you come home and they're muddy and all that, like one of the worst things you can do is hose down your engine with water. So you saw how well it worked on that. I just, you know, I can't reiterate enough that there is no surface that you cannot use dry ice on. It is amazing technology. I specifically designed this trailer to be very easy to tow and to maneuver. That's why it's got 2 axles, not 1, because it's actually easier to back it up if you ever have to. But the trailer itself is only 12 feet long, which makes it very compact, easy to park. Like if I wanted to park it in my garage and I had space, I could. Unfortunately, don't have space, but you see where I'm going with it. I kept it compact, and you can see I still have room on this trailer if I ever needed to add something to it. I don't know what else I would add. I don't really keep my machine on my trailer. It's so small that it actually fits in the back seat of my truck when I push the seat up. I did create a space for it if I wanted to, and it would just strap down to that E-track. I have covers for the equipment and stuff like that to protect it from the elements. I tried to think of everything that I could when I was building this trailer. That's why it took me several months to actually get it to kind of where I thought it was 100%. I see a lot of guys that will tow compressors behind vans and stuff, but then you have to unload everything, and I didn't want to have to waste time doing that stuff, so everything can stay where it is. But if it ever needs to be serviced, all these pieces can be removed very easily, especially those two, because they're on dollies. They're just strapped down and then locked in. Same with the compressor. It's serviceable where it is. You don't ever have to remove it. So this is a turnkey mobile dry ice blasting setup. You know, you can literally hook this up to your truck, grab some dry ice, and go start working the very same day. So if this is something you're serious about, you want to get into this, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thanks so much for watching. Stay hungry, stay foolish.